The Tempest, Act 4, Scene 1. In today's video number 2, we are going to start from line number 60. Now, before starting the explanation, I would like to discuss the definition of masque. What is a masque? Masques were stylized dramas incorporating poetic dialogue, music and dancing, and often making lavish use of costumes, scenery and mechanical devices. They became popular as court entertainment in Elizabeth's reign and were frequently presented at James I's court between 1603 and 1625. What is the dramatic significance of the masque in Act 4, Scene 1 of The Tempest? This is going to be our point of discussion. But before that, I will give you a line-by-line explanation of this section. Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich lees of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats and peas, thy turfy mountains where live nibbling sheep, and flat meads thatched with stover them to keep, thy banks with peoned and twilled brims, which spongy April at thy hest betrims, to make cold nymphs chaste crowns, and thy broom groves, whose shadow the dismissed bachelor loves, being lass lorn. Let me just explain these lines. Ceres, as I told you, is the goddess of fertility and harvest, and Iris introduces Ceres as the most generous lady presiding over rich fields of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats and peas. What are vetches? Now vetches are tars grown for fodder, and the meaning of turfy is turf covered. The turf covered mountains where the sheep feed, and also the flat meadows which are covered with hay, stover, to keep the sheep. Thy banks, the river banks, overgrown with marsh marigold and reeds, which spongy, rain-soaked, damp, wet April at her command betrims, rejuvenates. And why? To furnish garlands for virtuous nymphs, to make cold nymphs chaste crowns, and thy broom groves, whose shadow and the dismissed bachelor loves, being lass lorn, thy pole-clipped vineyard, and thy sea marge sterile, and rocky hard, where thou thyself dost err, the clumps of broom, whose shadows the dismissed bachelor, the rejected lover, seeks when he has lost his beloved, being lass lorn, having lost his girl. So, understood? And then we have with the vineyards, vines clinging to poles, and the beach of the sea, barren and hard as rock, where Ceres goes to take the air. The queen of the sky. Who is the queen of the sky? The queen of the sky is Juno, and she is the queen of the gods, whose watery arch and messenger am I. Iris is the rainbow and the messenger of Juno, and Juno bids Ceres to leave these, that is, to leave the places just described, all these places, to leave these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot, in this very place, to come and sport. So what is the command of Juno? Juno commands Ceres to leave all these, and on this grassy lawn, in this very place, to play with her divine self. Her peacocks fly amain. Peacocks, birds sacred to Juno, here drawing her chariot, and the meaning of the word amain is at high speed. So Juno's peacocks carry Juno here swiftly. Juno's chariot appears suspended above the stage. It seems to have been a convention of the masque for the deity to appear suspended above the stage, and we will see the picture in the next page. Approach rich Ceres, her to entertain. Enter Ariel as Ceres. Who is impersonating as Ceres? It is Ariel. Ceres, hail, many-colored messenger. She is hailing Iris, the many-colored messenger that never dost disobey, the wife of Jupiter. Who is the wife of Jupiter? Wife of Jupiter is the queen of the sky, the queen of the gods, Juno. Who with thy saffron wings? Saffron. The description of Iris with saffron-colored wings is taken from Virgil, Aeneid 4, line number 700. So here Ceres is hailing Iris, rainbow-colored messenger who never dared to disobey Juno, the wife of Jupiter. And according to Ceres, Iris has orange-colored wings. Who with the orange-colored wings let fall drops of honey on her flowers in the form of refreshing showers. Who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffusest honey drops, let fall drops of honey, refreshing showers, in the form of refreshing showers. And with each end of thy blue bow dost crown my bosky acres, bosky covered with bushes, and my unscrubbed down, that is, bare plains. Here Ceres tells that Iris, with each end of her blue rainbow cover on her bushy acres and her bushless plains, like a rich scarf covering the proud earth. Rich scarf to my proud earth. And she also asks, Iris, why hath thy queen, why has Juno commanded her to come there to this short-grassed green, that is to the lawn covered with short grass? She wants to know the purpose why Juno summoned her there. Iris, a contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate. Estate bestow on the blessed lovers. So who are the blessed lovers? Ferdinand and Miranda. And the meaning of the word bow is rainbow. Here the purpose of this celebration is to celebrate a solemn pledge of true love and freely to bestow some gift on the happy lovers. This is the purpose. Ceres, tell me heavenly bow, so tell me rainbow, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do now attend the queen. So here Ceres wants Iris to answer a question of hers. If Iris knows whether Venus or her son Cupid, who is the son of Venus? The son of Venus is Cupid, now in attendance on Juno. And why is she asking about them? Since they plotted the means by which the dark god of the underworld kidnapped, abducted her daughter. And Ceres has avoided the scandalous company of Venus and her blind son Cupid. Do now attend the queen, since they did plot the means that dusky dis my daughter got, her and her blind boy's scandaled company I have foresown. Who is Venus or her son? Allusion. In Roman mythology, Venus was the goddess of love and her son was Cupid. Cupid is depicted as being blind. he caused havoc by making people fall in love with inappropriate partners. And who is Dusky Dis? The dark-colored god of the underworld. According to Greek legend, Dis, also called Pluto, seized Ceres' daughter Persephone and took her back to the underworld to be his wife. Ceres refers to the episode narrated by Ovid in Metamorphoses 5th, when the god of the underworld, urged on by the powers of love, abducted her daughter Proserpina or Persephone and kept her with him for 6 months of the year, during which time Ceres laid upon the earth the curse of winter. Dusky, gloomy, melancholy, and Dis, the Greek name for Pluto, god of the underworld. Iris. Offer society, be not afraid. Iris assures Ceres not to be afraid of her company, because she met her deity. She met Venus sailing through the clouds towards Paphos, cutting till Paphos, speeding across the sky to her birthplace in Cyprus, which was the center of her cult, and her son Cupid, dove drawn with her. Doves were sacred to Venus and drew her chariot. Here, in the case of Ferdinand and Miranda, thought they to have done some wanton charm upon this man, and made wanton charm, they cast a spell to incite them to lust. But in this case, Ferdinand promised not to destroy the virginity of Miranda, whose vows are that no bed rite shall be paid till Hymen's torch be lighted. Now, Ferdinand promised to have no physical union until they were married. So this proved in vain. Mars' hot minion is returned again. Venus, the lustful darling of Mars, the god of war. And what is the meaning of whose vows are that no bed rite shall be paid till Hymen's torch be lighted? Their marriage will not be consummated. There will be no physical union before the wedding ceremony. The bed rite or bed rite is both death and ritual. Her waspish-headed son, spiteful son, has broken his arrows. Cupid's arrows could sting love or hatred into the object of their aim. Swears he will shoot no more, but play with sparrows. Sparrows were associated with Venus and held to be emblematic of lechery. And be a boy right out. What is the meaning? Venus, the great favorite of the god Mars, has gone back, and Cupid, her irritable son, has broken his arrows, and he says he will shoot no more but play with sparrows like any other boy. Here is a picture of Cupid. Just have a look. Cupid, blind and with his arrow. Ceres, highest queen of state, great Juno comes, I know her by her gait. The most majestical queen is Juno. Juno was queen of the Roman gods and held particular responsibility for marriage. And the word gait means whatever the disguise or means of transport, the true deity could always be discerned by her movement, by her gait. Juno's chariot descends to the stage. Now, the speech of these goddesses is poetic and emphasizes the joys of marriage. Just have a look at this picture. Here Juno's chariot appears to be suspended above the stage. How does my bounteous sister? The word sister is interesting because Ceres and Juno were both daughters of Saturn. Go with me. Juno wants Ceres to go with her to bless this twain. to bless the pair, Ferdinand and Miranda, that they may be prosperous be and honored in their issue, so that they may be prosperous and honored by their children. Issue, the meaning of the word issue is children. Ceres joins Juno in the chariot which rises and hovers above the stage. They sing. Juno, honor, riches, marriage blessing, long continuance, and increasing hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings on you. So this is the song sung by Juno. Honor, riches, a blessed marriage, long life, long continuance, long life, and increase of happiness and hours of joy be ever yours. Juno sings her blessings over Ferdinand and Miranda. It's time for Ceres now. Earth's increase, foison, plenty. The meaning of the word foison is abundance. Barns and garners never empty. Vines with clustering bunches growing. Plants with goodly burden bowing. Alliteration, spring come to you at the farthest. This is a conventional wish equivalent to may you never know the rigors of winter, may spring immediately follow autumn. In the very end of harvest, scarcity and want shall shun you. Ceres's blessing so is on you. According to Ceres, the couple, the lovers, may be blessed with crops of the earth and much abundance. Their barns and storehouses must never be empty, with vines with cluster of grapes, plants bending under a good weight of fruit, may spring come to them, at the latest by the end of harvest time. May scarcity, shortage, and want, difficulties never come to Ferdinand and Miranda. They must never face any hardships. So the blessing of Ceres is also upon them. Ferdinand, this is a most majestic vision and harmonious charmingly. May I be bold to think these spirits. Ferdinand is delighted with the spectacle, but there is more to come. Let us see. What is it? Prospero, spirits which by mine art, the magic of Prospero, I have from their confines called to enact my present fancies. But before that, I would like to read out a few more annotations. Spring till harvest. Spring come to you at the farthest in the very end of harvest. I already gave you one interpretation, and let's see what is written over here. May spring return as soon as the harvest is over. Ceres, in effect, is revoking the curse of winter. Harmonious, charmingly. Harmonious, charmingly. In this expression, the word charm derives from the Latin carmen, which means both song and spell. May I be bold? Would I be correct? And again we have their confines. I have from their confines, that is, the natural elements they inhabit. The spirits have been brought out of the natural elements they inhabit. And what are fancies? Fancies are fantasies. So my dear boys and girls, as you learned the annotations for your semester 1 examination, you will learn the annotations once again. Ferdinand, let me live here ever. He is delighted and he wants to live here forever. So rare a wandered father and a wife makes this place paradise. Wondered, able to create wonders. And what is a wondered father? An amazing father who is capable of performing such wonders. Juno and Ceres whisper and send Iris on employment. Sweet now silence. Sweet, the term of endearment, may be addressed to Ferdinand or Miranda, or perhaps Prospero intends nothing more than gently. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously, there's something else to do. Hush, silence, and be mute, or else our spell is marred, spoiled. Iris, you nymphs called naiads of the winding brooks, with your sedged crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels alliteration, and on this green land answer your summons. Iris summons the spirits of the waters, the naiads, to appear, and they are then followed by a group of reapers. The naiads and reapers dance together, and then they disappear, thus bringing the masque to an end. Now, what is the meaning of naiads, water nymphs, and winding? It is winding and wandering. Leave your crisp channels, crisp, wave-covered, rippling channels, and come on this green land, answer your summons. Juno does command. Come, temperate nymphs. The word temperate means chaste and cool, and help to celebrate a contract of true love. Sedged. Sedge is a water plant. Crisp, as already discussed, is rippling. Temperate means chaste. The naiads were associated with Diana, the virgin goddess. Enter certain nymphs. You sunburned sickle men of August weary. August weary, tired out with the hay-making work of August. Come hither from furrow and be merry, make holiday, your rye straw hats put on, and these fresh nymphs. Who are the fresh nymphs? Freshwater naiads encounter everyone in country footing. Footing, dancing. Here, Ceres tells the reapers, the sun-tanned reapers, weary of August heat, to come there from the ploughed field and be merry. Make rejoicings, and they are also asked to put on their hats made of rye straw. They are also asked to meet everyone of those young water nymphs in country dance. And then enter certain reapers. So we have water nymphs, we have reapers. Enter certain reapers, properly habited, properly dressed. And what do? They join with the nymphs in a graceful dance, country footing, towards the end whereof Prospero starts suddenly and speaks. What happens towards the end of it? Prospero starts suddenly and speaks, after which, to a strange, hollow and confused noise, they heavily vanish. Then with a strange and confused noise, they all disappear, and then the masque comes to an end. This sudden termination of the festivities was caused by Prospero's remembering that Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo are planning to kill him. He apologizes to Ferdinand and then leaves Ferdinand and Miranda so that he can deal with the three conspirators. Now in the next video, I'm going to discuss these things, and I'm going to give you a line by line explanation of the rest of the scene. Now, before that, let me just discuss a little bit more about the masque. I told you the definition of masque and what is so special about this masque here. Certain conventions developed in the genre, and they can all be observed in this masque, which occurs in Act 4, Scene 1, line 60 to line 138. Masques almost always dealt with classical or mythical subject matter, number 1. Number 2, the characters were often gods and goddesses, we all see that, or personifications of abstract qualities like grace or peace. Number 3, masques were usually much shorter than the more usual drama of the time and frequently used rhyming couplets. Now we have already discussed about this rhyming couplets previously while discussing the scene. Number 4, they were often composed to celebrate a marriage, and so married bliss was a widely used theme. Here also we have seen how Prospero wanted this to celebrate the union of Ferdinand and Miranda. Occasionally, masques made no use of words but employed music, costumes and moving scenery to entertain the audience. The banquet episode, remember the banquet episode in Act 3, Scene 3, lines 18 to lines 52 can be regarded as a miming masque of this type. Now, the playwright William Shakespeare's use of masques is not confined to the Tempest, but the appearance of the two masques in the one play may indicate the type of audience for which the play was to be performed, as well as the growing interest in the masque genre in the early part of the 17th century. So, here I end today's session.